Standardized testing is a huge part of education and can be really instrumental to the way things are run in the classroom. A teacher can look at students' standardized test scores and can really use them to glean a lot of important information about the students. For example, a teacher can use those standardized test scores to look at the students' current academic levels and to group them accordingly in the classroom with other students who are at the same academic level. A teacher can also use those standardized test scores to track a student's progress over time. For example, to take a look at how a student is doing now as compared to how he or she were doing at the beginning of the school year or in previous school years, and to see if those students are really getting those concepts that they're being taught. A teacher can also really look at the students' areas of great strength as well as their areas of need. They can really break down the test scores and see where the students are performing really well and have obviously attained the concepts that the teacher has been teaching, and then take a look at those areas of need and see where certain concepts might need to be retaught or taught in more depth or taught in a different way, so that those students can really get those concepts and then build their knowledge from there. There are a number of ways that teachers and parents can look at standardized test scores and can really glean some good information from them. When a standardized test score report is sent out, there are often a number of ways in which the scores are organized. And these ways can be really helpful to the teachers and the parents in looking at how the student's doing. For example, one of the reports that's sent out is the student's percentile rank. So they'll take the raw score of how the student scored on the test, and then they'll rank it against other students in the same grade, statewide or nationwide, or however the test is being scored, and see how that student ranks compared to other students in their same grade. And that's a really interesting way to just get a really quick snapshot of how the student's doing, and if you can look at the percentile rank and pretty quickly see if the student has a really glaringly obvious area of need, if there's anything that might need to be considered, like possibly a need for special education services, or looking at the possibility of retaining the child in that current grade and having them repeat that same grade again. There are really a lot of things that the percentile rank can tell you. And then if it's a really high percentile rank, then we can see those are some areas where that student is really ahead of the game, really strong in that academic area compared to their classmates, and they're really doing okay in that area. Another way in which the scores are organized is by grade equivalency. And so they'll take those standardized test scores and they'll translate them into, this is how a student at this time in this grade level would be typically scoring. So for example, if you saw a grade equivalency score of 2.3, that would be a typical score you would see a student scoring in second grade in the third month of the second grade year. Or if you saw a grade equivalency score of 3.7, you would be looking at, this would be a typical score that a student in the 7th month of the third grade year would typically be scoring. So you can take a quick look at that grade equivalency score and you can say, yeah, my child is really on track, they're about where they should be at this point in their grade level, or they're above grade level, and do we need to really sort of teach and scaffold the child up to their level of need and make sure that we're kind of meeting them where they are academically, or is there an area of need there? Are they really far below grade level Is this an area where we really need to give that child extra support to help them get to where they need to be by this point in the school year? And again, is it going to be extra support in the classroom? Is there a possibility that we might need some special education services? Do we need to possibly look at retaining the child? Are they that far below grade level where it might benefit the child to repeat the grade? So there are a number of different things that you can do with that grade equivalency score. And it's just a great way to, again, just get a quick snapshot of where the child stands at that point in the school year. And then another way in which scores are grouped are called STAY-9. STAY-9 is short for Standard 9. So they're basically, they take the test scores, they divide them up into 9 basic chunks. And so STAY-9 5 is your average. That's your baseline average score range. And then anything in STAY-9 6, 7, 8, and 9 would be above average. And STAY-9 1, 2, 3, 4 would be below average. And so you're basically looking at how the student is grouped compared to other students in their grade level. And that gives you a pretty quick idea of, are they at a pretty average grade level, equivalent to the other students in their grade level, or are they above average or below average? And you can take a look at that and group the students accordingly, or see really glaringly obvious areas of need or of high academic achievement. Now, standardized test scores, of course, are not the be-all, end-all of student achievement. In education, we are always looking at the whole child. So, teachers are looking at standardized test scores in tandem with the students' achievements academically in the classroom on a day-to-day basis, and the teacher's observations, and the students' interactions with other students, and just all different kinds of measures that we're looking at, putting that all together and looking at the whole child and saying, what is this person about? How are they doing as a child? How are they functioning in the classroom? How are they functioning with the other students out at recess? How is this person developing as a whole person? And I think that ultimately what we're looking at is, who is this person going to become? Who do we see them becoming over the next couple of years in school? And ultimately, who do we see them becoming as an adult? So when you look at your child's standardized test scores, yes, use them as a picture and as one piece of the puzzle to look at where they are and where they stand in their grade level. But take a look at who that child is as a whole person. Look at how that person is interacting on a daily basis with their classroom environment, with their teacher, with their classmates, how they're doing at home, how they're developing socially, emotionally, cognitively, and then take a look at that whole picture, and then only then can you make a plan with your family and with your teacher as to how are you going to educate this child to become that person that they're going to become in the long run as a person in their society, in their environment now, and as an adult.